Welcome back, guys. So I just wanted to complete the favorite screen. So we'll be working on it, but we didn't complete it yet. Like I said, I took a break, so there's something that came up I needed to kind of like address or do something on. Yeah, that's personal issue. So I just took a break and had to finish that up. And yeah, we are back again. So let's get this section complete, and we can move over to maybe tomorrow or something like that. We could continue from the other side. So we have this function called add favorite psychology, because in the app, not in the app, in our products. So we need to kind of like have a feature. Like I remember there's a feature we needed to add this. So basically, when you add, we click on this. When the user clicks on this, they add these favorites, these psychologists as their favorite psychologists to the list of favorite psychologists they have. So something that's what we're trying to address here. And there's the function or the method that will help us to do that. So get hold of the psychologist UID and create a new model for the favorite psychologist, and then add that into our hive boxes that we created for favorite psychologist. And there we go. So we want to test that out now. And again, we need to also make this so that if the user kind of favorites it, it should change to something else. So what we could do is to head into home details page, and here is the icon. So we have a list that contains favorite psychologists that kind of like let's say, yeah, when the user asks them as a favorite psychologist. So you could check that list to see if this psychologist exists in there. If he or she exists in there, so we can mark this as added as favorites. So that's logic behind it, and that's logic we want to kind of implement right now. So that's the thought process I have for it. So let's go ahead and work with the favorite stuff for us to see that work. So we are here. So this is showing up an error. Maybe you're doing something wrong. So let's get that cleared out. We can just print the username and print its favorited psychologist. Tap on this. We tapped on that, so let's see. Okay, so let's restart our app first. So let's try that again. Okay, so we could actually print the user out, so it worked. So the psychologist was printed on the screen, and there's the name. And next, so it says following hive error was shown, and during injection, didn't you forget to call hive.openbox? Okay, and that error was shown when we tapped. Let's see the section. At what point the error was shown? Okay, at this point, so the error right here, because this hive in now kind of like, because we are calling add, so it kind of like behaves like a list, right? So we kind of have to maybe loop, we are kind of not maybe, we have to loop through it to kind of like print whatever that's in there out. So that's to show that this is actually working at the moment. So with this be this working, what we could do is to say, um, so we have a function add favorite. So the next function we maybe kind of like get all the favorites that we need from the database, and also adds that to the list that we created, because this right here is actually working as we expected it to work. Let's think through this. Okay. Okay. The Hive should function to Hive documentation. to be able to list all the object favorite model object inside our Hive box. Yeah, let's try something out. It's instead of saying this, printing this out like this, so you can just okay, Hive. Try doing some below here. We could do something like say trying to test something out to see if this is working. Print um so start this, then head over to set another psychologist, not the same psychologist, and different one. So let's try adding this. I could actually see it's working, so we could actually get the psychologist, the model at index 0, which is the previous one we added. So this how to work with the list, passing the key. If it's a list, like key is 0, so that's it. So we are going to use that functionality, and we could actually say something like a function that gets us the gets hold of the all the favorites that the user have. So we could actually say something like add void get all favorites favorite psychologists. So it's going to return okay, let's create this favorite psychologist first over here. I'm going to come over here at the top of our file, right somewhere. We actually make use of that down below here. Okay, so get of favorite is equals to hive cycle. Okay, there's the box. Okay, dot. So get So I'm looking for a function that will help us to get all the stuff from a hive box. Um, so we can access that by using the value command values dot to list. Um, we could actually close the whole box by saying, so when this is out of context, so we could actually say hive yeah, closes all the open boxes. So that's one good stuff we could do here. And we forgot to do this, and so yeah, we forgot to do this in the profile main controller section when we open the box. So let's close that box right here. So press the Coral Hive. Okay. Call that function right here to close all the opened box and head back to our home controller. So right now, if we initialize this in the onReady function, we could just go ahead and call get or so get so there we go. So get all the psychologists, and this will get that for us. So the next will be to actually do the stuff I'm talking about. So we are going to loop through the so right here, home details screen. So so what I could do is to say home controller. So get hold of the home controller of favorite psychologist dot contains um okay, I think we can actually move this functionality down. Let's move it to the home controller. Let's do that inside the home controller. Say check so I have favorite psychology.value.na, so we don't need to use a value property here. So that will return, let's see. Okay, so yeah, that's good. So we could actually do that and then use this function outside. So this will be the function we are going to be calling. And one more thing, we could actually wrap this. I prefer having this inside the named parameter, not reactive. That should be required. So the UID will basically be selected psychologist, the UID. So if it's true, so I'm going to return an icon. That's basically else return this icon, but let's fix this. So if it's true, we are going to return a rounded icon, but right now we want it to be covered and no longer open like this. But this is not going to work well if we don't wrap it with OBX. So we're going to take everything we have here and put them all in OBX. So I'm going to say OBX. So OBS kind of like watches whenever something changes, and then rebuild that particular widget for us with the new changes. So let's start this, and I'm going to say wait a second before something will cause will throw an error for us. So here we are getting all the psychologists, but we are not making sure if it's empty. So for now, Shake, we are going to say if it's empty, go ahead and give this to us. And I'll run this. See, so okay, right here, open this. Okay, that's working. So we could actually see that the psychology is selected, is inside our favorite psychology. So that's why this is showing dark. I don't think that should be dark color. I think it should be white color. If I'm correct, I think it should be white color. Yeah, it should be white color, not black. So let's change that. So head over here. The color should actually be white. Let's say app colors dot pure white. Okay, there we go. So we have that white color showing up there. I'm trying to see if that's actually what we needed, if that's working the way we want it. So yeah, I think we are good to go. Yeah, it should be white color. So we tap on this again, say it's white color. So that means these psychologists have been favorited, and also same like this. So this has not been favorited, I think so. Yeah, this has been favorited, so yeah, that's working. So yeah, but one more thing we could actually do is to say so what if, so the right now we're going to say what if the psychology has not been favorited, what should we not do? What if the psychology has been favorited, but I want to remove the psychology from my favorite list? So I think what we could actually do is to call so this place we are saying add favorites. So inside the add favorites, because we want to remove this psychologist from the favorite, you see right now it's currently being favorited, but we want to remove this psychologist. So let's say in that case we will need to wrap this with an if statement and look through some scenarios on what we need to do. So I'm going to say if psychologist, no, that's favorite. Psychologist as contains psychology, not contains psychology, that's an object. So you need to go through the whole object, look, see if that kind of matches to what we are looking for. But that's not what we want to do. But what we would like to do is to do some shake on it. So let's say dot any element, yeah, so any element dot uid matches this particular selected I want to add uid. If it matches, so we don't want to add that particular psychologist, so we don't want to add that particular psychologist, basically want to remove them if that matches. So and once we remove them, so we remove them from the list and also remove them from the database. So how do we remove them from the database? So this will help us to remove that particular model from the database. So let's run this. I'm going to say, okay, yeah, I'm back. So that should be say, instead of saying add, see if it has a remove property. Nope. So what's the key of this particular element? Because we want to delete that from the from our database directory. So if we tap on this, maybe tap once, add, tap again, if it's already added, delete. So we can actually delete it, the psychology.ui, because that's not the key that we are saving it with. So it's kind of like auto incrementing it each key. So we should use something, the key should be an increment, the index of where the particular index of that, yeah, of that psychologist. That should be the key. So let's try getting the index of this particular psychologist. Try this February. So get rid of, because you can get rid of that index from this. Let me see if there's a property called remove where. Okay. UID is equals to UID. I think that makes sense that way. Then can already call remove from the list once we have removed from the database DB here. And also the same scenario where remove where elements has this particular ID. So let me just say current index should be equals to that, and then go to say delete. The key will basically be current index. Okay, I think that makes sense this way. And so over here, once we add stuff, so we want to also actually call get to get the particular stuff we added immediately. Such that we call this function. Test this out. Okay, so right now this psychology is currently selected, added as its favorite. So let's unfavorite the psychologist. Tapping on this should unfavorite the psychologist. So it says favorite psychologist is no. Okay, yeah, remove this section. So let's see if this actually worked. Restart our app. So you can see this no longer shows this particular psychology as favorite, but this is still inside our favorite. And also let's see what else. So you can unfavorite this person and they will be removed immediately, and we can actually go back, check through them, and see we don't have any currently favorite psychologists at the moment. So they are still currently empty. So let's go ahead and add another one. So let's go add this second person as favorite, and that will be updated immediately. So now that's inside our favorite. If you restart our app, because we are getting this from the database, we are currently not has coding it. You can see that's still working. So this is not favorite, but the second psychologist should be inside our favorite. So that's working. So remember, we're not adding this to the Firebase. So this is basically locally in the user's DB, because we want to limit what we are doing on Firebase, so we will not incur more cost or something like that. Yeah. So I think we are good to go now. So head over to this section. So when we are on the psychologist end, we want to get the favorite psychologist that we added as favorite. It should show up here. So how do we do that? Is to head to favorite screen, and inside our favorite screen we have this to show filter and show filter. First one is for the psychologist, this is for articles. So in here, the list we are going to be passing from home controller, and that should be called favorite psychologist. Okay, dot value. So we're having an issue right now because this is telling us it needs this type. So it needs a list of this type to be able to display in our user card. But so you could actually have two types. Try that in that. Okay. So no, there's other languages you can actually have either is a string, either is a int or double. So you can have that in TypeScript or something like that. But I think that should have that. So type. Okay, if we remove this, I'll make this to be dynamic. That should cause some problem, should it? Let's see over here. Okay, so it's telling us we currently have two people who are inside our favorites class, favorites in our database. I don't think that is true. Let's see if that is actually true. So this is not among our favorite psychologists. Okay, this is, and okay, this person is too. Okay. So I have Kusha, Daria, and Drozdov are among them. So that's why it's showing Drozdov and Kusha Daria. Okay. Okay, so we are able to display this favorite psychologist right here. And that's working, that's good. Let's see one more thing we could actually do right here. So we could actually be able to display them like we have right here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this is how they want us to display, so that's how we are displaying it right here. And next is the article section is the one we have to work on. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so if you over here, it shows you different stuff. Over here, it shows you the currency psychologist that's my favorite. But tapping on this should take us to this detail screen. So let's see if that actually works. It's not working. So it's showing us a different psychologist, which is not what we want to view. So it should actually be this person here, but it's showing us somebody that's different. So yeah, we need to fix that issue. But for now, let's work on favorite articles too, to be able to show favorite articles right here. For favorite articles, so this is how it should actually look like. So basically we don't need to create this because this has already been created somewhere here. Let me see. we have used something like that, similar, something like this. So we don't need to recreate it again. We could just take it and put it in here, and that's the same. Let's be sure if there's no difference. Yeah, there's no difference, so just take it and put it in there, and that will work. So let's do that. So I'm going to say so there we go. And if we kind of like remove these colors, unfavorite them, none of them will show up here, but because we favorited them, they will show up here. But like I said, we are going to work on the article section. So for the article section, because right now we have dummy data, that's not article, it should look like this for the article section, and that's here. So I'm going to say right in here, right? So first of all, let's go over to okay, let's head over here to the article screen. So these are articles screen and presentation right here, and so we could actually favorite an article from this section. So either you tap here or you tap here to favorite that particular article. So we have a lot to do here. So okay, right here. Let's see, list builder that has this article card. We are passing in the selected articles. Okay. So our article controller should be this. In there, we are going to still do the same thing we are doing, we did for the home controller. So we're going to pick our idea from home controller. So let's see. So I have register Hive adapter, and okay, before we do that, let's go over to the model and create our, let me see, okay, this is for home, our article. So article model, this is our article model. So we're going to create a new article, favorite article, how it should look like, but I think it should actually look the same like this, so there shouldn't be any difference. So it should actually look the same like this. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it, so right here we are. I'm going to say favorite article model, and I'm going to say Hive class so favorite article model. So at Hive type, so the type should be 2, and in there we're going to be creating field at Hive field in here. It's already imported this, so I should say at Hive field 0. Basically, before we do that, I could just list out how the host stuff should look like. So you should have a picture, name, minimum read dates, ID, body, and author ID. Okay, and so we're extending that right in here. Okay, picture. Okay, almost the same thing. Okay, every single thing that we have here should also be here. So we have all those, so I'm going to side here, so it's going to be required. I think we are good to go. Save all those. One more thing that's remaining that we are about to forget is to create our adapter path. So our adapter should actually look like this, and it should be part of this class. So I'm going to say favorite model. So that should say the same name. Save that and head over here and run the same code to generate our adapter for us. Okay, so our adapter is now generated. We are good to go. Let's go ahead and start using this. So here's our article controller. So we are going to copy most of what we have here. So there we go. I'm going to import this. But the favorite adapter, that's not what we want to use. So article model, the favorite article model should have what we call favorite article model adapter. So there we go, favorite article model. And the hive box we want to open. So remember our hive box is live in here, and I always call it hive box db. So static, okay, so that should be favorite articles. So favorite articles db. Important, I think that's all. Make this to be asynchronous. And the second code there, we don't need that. Go ahead and delete all this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and start making use of that. So first we are going to create almost the same functionality that we had here, that we also called add. So we call that add favorite psychologist. So it should look like this. So you can actually move this to a different class and kind of like have the function adapt to the type that is coming in. So if the type is articles, so it should kind of like adapt itself to be like articles, accept and work with articles. But yeah, I think that's one way to actually improve our code, that we wrote here, and make it kind of like reusable in every area that we're doing anything about favorite stuff. Or we can like just basically copy this and rewrote and change stuff to match what we want to do. Come on. So I'm going to create a function right somewhere. So before we go, let's actually call hive.close. Yeah, so hive.close, close the boxes that are open. And okay, and right below here, okay, void. The articles have ID. I'm not too sure about that, so I'm not sure that articles has an ID. Just say Firebase. So let's see, master.db. Okay. Articles has an ID, so that makes sense. So yeah, so every single one of our articles has an ID, and again, okay, I see. It makes sense to accept. So call it UID, and in here, gonna just paste the code I just copied over. I'll comment this out. Get hold of that. Fix the first one. Okay, favorite article model. Favorite articles. ID. Okay, the current index will be favorite. So there we go. It shouldn't be named psychologist. It should be named something different than that. I could call the articles that a singular that should just say article. It's not a plural form. Article.id and article.name and article.picture. And next will be basically article.date. Let's see what else we are missing. So we have article dot body, author ID, and minimum read. So body article dot, come on. So I have author ID, which is article dot author ID, main read, that's coming from article the minimum read. Okay, so there we go. From this DB, but add this model of favorited articles, and basically article name. I think that's all we need here. And we could just go straight ahead and test this out and see if this is working and we are not having any issue, and we could go forward with other stuffs. So here we are in our article screen. So where is it again? Our article screen. Not this. So this is our article controller. Inside our article controller, which is this, so we have our article screen. There we go. And inside the article screen, we'll have what we call article section. Okay, that's interesting. So inside our article section, we have articles controller, and in there we have what we call article cards. Okay, and that kind of like only has one function that pushes the user to the new screen. Okay, interesting. But once a way where the user can only tap on this and favorite this and not being pushed to the next screen. Okay, so we could just move into our article card and add maybe another function on that particular icon. So I'm going to add a callback here. Final void callback is optional. On favorite tab. So the icon shouldn't be hard to find, so I have positioned okay, yeah, so this is the icon we're looking for. So wrap that with a gesture detector. We are still going to test this out to see if it's going to work before we start doing adding any function to it. So we just say on tap, and inside the on tap, for now I just want to print something out to see if this is kind of like getting any gesture tab. So tap on that. Okay, it's working. Yeah. And if you tap outside, it takes us. Okay, yeah, I think we are good. So tap. So it's been called, and because it's been called, what we could do is just pass the unfavorite tab to it, and that's all we need to do. So we pass the unfavorite tab to it, and we could actually access that in article section, which is this. So I have our unfavorite tab. Okay, toggle favorites. So the function we are trying to call is not called toggle favorite, and the function we are trying to call is called, where's that controller? Add favorite articles. So we could actually call it toggle favorites. I think that kind of make more sense. I think that makes more sense if you call it toggle favorites instead of add favorites. Yeah, call it toggle favorites, will make more sense. And we get access to that right here. Says toggle favorite requires something called UID, so we have to pass it a UID. The UID is coming from article dot UID, but basically it's ID, so that's it. Save that. And now if we head back to the, I hope we didn't mess stuff up. Okay, head back to the article controller, so toggle favorites, and let's try that out. So try tapping on this. Okay, it's working. So flutter added to favorite. Let's see, where does it come from and where would it be? So yeah, that's nice. So our favorite function is basically working, and we could actually add a favorite and then remove that favorite. Okay. Let's see what else we need to do here. So the favorite is actually working, but this is not showing up as something that has been favorited. Remember how we did similar stuff in our home controller, which we called its favorite, yeah, this particular function. So we have its favorite article requires a UID, and we could just search through our favorite articles and then check the ID comparing to the ID that was passed in. We could actually make use of that in our article section screen. That should be right somewhere. Yeah, article section. So these are a list of observable, right? Each one of these articles card should have what we call its favorite ID that toggles that particular button. And so there we go. So this should have another parameter, final, and it's going to be a boolean optional, and it's called its favorite. And we are going to use that on this icon here. So we're going to say its favorite is true. If it's true, for now, we are going to just do if it's true, else it do this. But if it's true, go ahead and copy the same function, but need to tweak it a bit. I'm going to say mark that's pure white, and if it's true, is equals to its favorite is equals to true, do this, else show this. And if you save that, I think that's okay. That will not show an error because we need to add it here. So we could say over here its favorite, and then we could just say articles controller dot is favorite, but there's no function like that, so it's not called its favorite. So it's actually called its favorite article, so that should be the name. Yeah, so it should be like this. Go ahead and save this. So let's restart this app again. Okay, so there's a mistake we are actually making here. So yeah, I think that was the reason why this didn't work. So right below here, we should have get our favorite articles. So it should be a void function. We are going to call that get our um, favorite um, get our favorite articles. I think yeah, there we go. So this dot value to assign something to it. So favorite articles dot value is equals to favorite article model. This db and the values to this. Okay, yeah, and this should be called immediately when our um, the user is actually right here. Let me see. Yeah, it should be called here, and also it should also be called right below here. Okay, go ahead and save these two changes that we made. I think we can actually start our app again. Okay, so these are favorite screen. No, okay, it should be here. So you could see, yeah, the article is showing that this is favorited. Other ones are not favorited, so that's good. So if you look here, you will be surprised that this is favorited and this is favorited, because we are actually using the same list on top of over here and below here. We are still going to kind of like change this later on. So this should be based on the amount of, so depending on, so how I want to kind of filter this based on popular now and new is, say the logic will be, I will do that later on. So the logic will be, if people have been reading this article a lot, so if people have been opening an article a lot, so it should be updated and show that this should be among favorites articles. But if people have not been reading it, so it should be under new articles, or if the article is kind of like submitted newly, it should be under here. Every other thing should be under here, but most read articles should be under popular now. So that's kind of the idea and the logic I want to use on it. So with that, so that's why you're seeing this favorited and this favorited, but the rest of the articles are not favorited. But let's unfavorite this, tap on this. Okay, so we have an issue. Let's see. Okay, we are the one making a mistake. So okay. So we should actually be careful where we are doing stuff. So this shouldn't be psychologist DB. So this should be favorite um hive bosses or favorite. Okay, yeah, favorite articles DB. Yeah, that's what it should be. Get back there. Um, tap on that again to unfavorite this. Looks like that didn't go as planned. um, let me see. So it didn't update when we tapped on it. Then we refresh the screen and it updated. So something is wrong somewhere. Okay, let me see what that is all about. So I have our article screen, which is this. So it's called article sections by sections. And in there we have article section, which the list is actually an observable OBX, right? Okay, yeah. And we have articles card, and inside an articles card we have something that kind of changes depending if it's favorite or not. So I think at this point we need to wrap this with OBX observable. Let's try wrapping all this stuff with OBX. Okay, we're having improper use of OBX message right here. Let's see how we could actually make this happen. Let's go back. So article section. So let's tap on this again. So it still didn't update, but I know that it has already been added, but we are not seeing it being updated, because if we restart our app right now, we could see that that has been added. And you see that it's updated. So if you tap on it again, it's here, it has been removed as a favorite, but we can't see that being updated. So that's the issue we are trying to fix right now. Let's see. So I know one way to fix that is basically to have our controller inside a card, but I'm trying to see if there's a way to fix that without having our controller inside a card, by telling it to rebuild without having the controller inside the card. in here we have favorite articles where basically update that. So this kind of doesn't work, do anything there. Just basically move this and let me see. I think we could actually use the other way around this, which I said we could try using, and that will be basically being, wait a second. So right there we're removing it. Even when we are adding stuff, it's not updating because we're calling get or favorite articles. So we call this should call this and returns and assign it to favorite articles. So favorites articles of value, and also right in here, so the article section, our list view builder is using articles.length, okay, and OBS is monitoring or in that, and it's returning this. Okay, I think we could actually make this work. Maybe if you wrap this OBS, can you wrap OBS inside OBX? Does that make sense? But let's try something. Let's try this. Hopefully this doesn't actually throw an error to us. I'm just trying that. So having EX, I was clicking inside observable and other stuff. Okay, it's working. Let's see if it. I hope that doesn't have any side effects. Let's try something right here. OBX inside. I think that shouldn't have a side effect, because over here we are using this OBX to wash over this particular list to see if there's changes on the list, and secondary, we are using OBX here to actually wash the card to see if there are changes on the card. Yeah, I think that should be it. But okay. See if that's causing a lot of rebuild on each of them. We could actually check that out by actually saying so right here in our build function, I could actually say print I build here. So how many times it will be called. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Supposedly this is not being called 7 times or 14 times. I'm wondering why. Show something. So I build here. Okay, article.title, article dot ID. So let's see how many times I build here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is called twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Tap on this. So the whole stuff is rebuilt, and not just that particular list. Okay, so there's no downside on that. So you can actually wrap your list view builder with OBX, because I'm kind of like checking if there's a downside to that. Okay, so we could go ahead and finish up what we are doing. So right now we could actually do this. Okay, and call that again, call that again, call that again, call that again, and that's working. So next will be to add some stuff to the, let's add more. Add this. Add this. Okay, that's all. And if we head over to our psychology, to our favorite section, and want to get hold of that and use that, so basically call an articles controller. So we use favorite articles in our articles controller. So favorites, so articles, we are still showing this, so we need to make some huge changes to that. So favorite screen, so under here we want to show only article card. So to show an article card, so there we go, our article card. So there's a bit of difference here. So our article card right here, the width is actually almost the width of the screen, and wish you could see that's 300 and something, but our article card at the other end, the other screen, is not that way, because there are a whole other stuff that has been added, so that reduces the size. So yeah, I think one thing we could actually dynamically change the width. I think that actually makes sense. The heights, and also the heights, I think that would make sense too. We could actually use that, yeah, make use of that. Instead of show filter list, so instead of show filter list, which is this, I could actually add something that says if it's an article, go ahead and use an article card, else continue using this. So it should be optional. So this should start out being false. And I'm going to say else if it's an article. If it's an article, go ahead and make use of our article article card. Else, okay, so if it's an article is true, do this. Else, go ahead and make use of this one. Yeah, so article equals to true, do this. In here we can just import this first before populating it with what is requires. But there's one stuff that we need to take care of. Like I said, you could see here the article width and height kind of like changes. So I could actually make it to be optional. So I should say final width. So it should be double. Again, final double height. So let's say the width started being this, what we have here, and then the height. So I have container and picture cover height. Okay, yeah. I started being this, and then I could just say in here replace this with width and replace this with height. So save those two. Hopefully we won't have any issue. So it's still showing fine. So it's still good. Right here is where we need to make our changes. Because we are going to pass in here the list. So this is empty. Show this as if this is true. Show this. I'm passing okay through the list. So we could just say list at no. So the article card has we passing an article model. Okay, it's requiring an article model. List at this index. So what else is requiring? On tab, because yeah, it needs an on tab and on favorite tab. On favorite tab. For now, just leave it this way. And on favorite. So on favorite tab, do the same, leave it this way. Okay. Yeah, leave it this way. And next stuff it should need is favorite. Is favorite. Should start that being first for now. We are just setting stuff. Width and height property. Let's leave that this way for now and see how things works out. And we could head back to our favorite screen and then start making these changes show up. So in here I will say is article. I'll set that to be true. Okay, this should be coming from article controller, not that. Controller, okay, yeah. Import this. Okay, there we go. So article card, let's see. So this is actually looking ugly. Not what we intended for it. Increase the height of it from here. Okay, I think I know what we could do. So I'm kind of like thinking maybe create a new stuff, but that doesn't make sense. So we go ahead and make this reusable. So inside our article card, right here we are using something called positioned for it. So this is the container with a width property margin. So we are using margin right. So I'm going to say if width is saying is favorite is not equals to null. If it's true, do something else. If it's not equals to null, set the right margin to be actually 0. So yeah, that will fix that issue. So we have that same space from here and that same space around here. Let's see what else we need to actually fix. Maybe we could actually add margin, maybe margin bottom. Okay, there's no need of doing this here, so this doesn't make any sense. It would make more sense if we go back. So that should be inside here. So I could say inside here. Yeah, do the same if it's not equals to null. So that means if it's not empty, rather than do this, else do this. Okay, that should be 30 here. So yeah. So that's still the same stuff. No need of creating this edge sector only again. And then we could actually target margin dot bottom. Let's see. So margin dot bottom. Let me see. So that should actually look something like this. Okay, a space. Let's see the spacing between each of them. 14 pixels. So it should be 14 pixels. Else, it should just be 0. There we go. We have the spaces being applied right below each and every one of them. So in here,